Hello, Changemakers. I'm Dr. Stacy, your Mindset Life trainer, and thank you so much for joining me today. I'm excited to be here. So, does this sound familiar to you? Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me, right? So, how many of you changemakers out there remember chanting those words out on the schoolyard when you're confronted with a bully, or maybe even to an older sibling who wasn't being very nice? Well, I certainly do. It's a phrase that's supposed to show us that physical injury is worse and more real than the consequences of harmful words. However, the neuroscience says something totally different. Numerous studies have shown us that the positive and negative words that we tell ourselves not only affect us on an emotional or psychological level, but they have significant impact on our physical health as well. And that is what we are going to be discussing today. How to create positive self-talk habits that support your health in numerous ways. And by the end of our session together, my hope is that you will feel excited about new ideas for improving your sense of peace and empowered by knowing that even your thoughts can affect your health in positive ways. But as always, first, like we do here every session here at Mindset Live, we always start with our ritual of gratitude. Verbalizing what you are grateful for has emotional, mental, and physical benefits. So I ask that you use your chat box right there at the bottom of the screen and share with us one thing, big or small, that you are grateful for today. And I am going to start. I am grateful for my husband's new job. It's been a long time coming, and in the midst of a pandemic, I'm very grateful for that. Okay, so now it's your turn. Share with us what you are grateful for today. Use that chat box at the bottom of your screen. Let's see what we have here. Someone is grateful for hydrocortisone from a bee sting. Yikes. I'm grateful you have that hydrocortisone also. Bee stings can be a nightmare. We have a question. Someone is grateful for a new workout plan they're doing with the family. Well, that's amazing. Anytime you can pull in your family into your workout habits, it increases the chances you're going to stick with it, and you can all hold yourself accountable. So thank you for that. Let's see. Someone else is grateful for forgiveness. Ooh, you got my heart on that one. That's a good one. Thank you. And let's see. Grateful for such a lovely day. Yes, it is a lovely day. Any day that we're here and able to share with each other is a lovely day. Thank you all for that, for sharing. And one of the things about sharing what we're grateful for, it keeps us connected. And we're in a time when we're all socially isolated, so thank you so much for that. And it is with that sense of gratitude, we are going to explore self-talk a little bit more. So, how can it be that the words we say to ourselves have such a powerful influence on our health? Well, it has to do with something that we are all familiar with, stress, right? So, when we feel stress, our body responds in some pretty set ways. It tries to prepare us for fight or flight, and hormones like adrenaline are released into our bloodstreams to give us energy in order to take care of this threat that we perceive is right in front of us, right? So our blood pressure rises, our heart rate increases, our arteries narrow, and all of this can be a normal, healthy response, actually, because what if the stress is acute and short? Let's say we have to quickly jump out of the way of a moving car when we're crossing the street. Then this response is actually a good thing. However, when we experience chronic stress, these symptoms never really turn off completely, and this is not good for our health. So too much of this stress and stress hormones like cortisol It can lower your immune function, making you susceptible to infections. And it can even put you at greater risk for things like cancer. And chronically elevated cortisol also affects pain perception. So you feel more pain and more sensitive to pain when you're under a lot of stress. Stress can also cause you to gain weight and make it difficult to get rid of excess weight, which we know is never healthy. So, how does this apply to self-talk? Well, because negative self-talk triggers a chronic stress response in your body, especially your brain, even if you don't consciously realize it. And positive self-talk can actually be protective and boost your health. So, I want you to do something. Think of the words that are rolling in the back of your mind all day. Do you talk kindly to yourself, or do you talk harshly to yourself? Imagine you've just made a mistake at work. What do you say to yourself? What words go through your head when you can't get yourself motivated to do something that you want to do or that you need to do? What do you say to yourself when you look at yourself in the mirror? Something to think about, huh? Now, don't feel bad if you're just now realizing that you're less than kind to yourself. Most of us are. I know I am. It's ingrained in us. And there are so many aspects of our culture that encourage this type of self-criticism. Maybe you've gotten the message that, we need to be our own drill sergeant in order to motivate ourselves, right? Or maybe others have been overly critical of us, and we've internalized all of that negative language. But once we realize that this kind of talk can actually harm us by contributing to our chronic stress response, that right there is a really good reason to practice being kinder and gentler to ourselves. In fact, positive self-talk helps to combat the effects of the chronic stress. When you talk comfortingly and compassionately to yourself, rather than harshly or critically, you can literally reduce your heart rate, lower your blood pressure, just as if someone else were comforting you at that moment. So even better, by practicing holding positive and optimistic words in your mind, did you know that you can actually change your brain? So there's this phrase that I love. Neurons that fire together, wire together. So what this means is that every time you think a specific positive thought, you strengthen a neural pathway in your brain. And if you build strong neural pathways by regularly talking kindly to yourself, you'll not only feel less stress, but it will be so much easier for you to make those positive, healthy changes in your life that you want to make. This is in part because words and thoughts act on specific language centers in your brain. And these language centers directly connect to the motor cortex of the brain. And that's the part of the brain that is responsible for moving you into action. So your words cause movement. Interesting thought, huh? So let's take a quick pause here, and I would love to know what you're thinking right now. I want you to take a moment, use the chat box there at the bottom of your screen, and I want you to just ask yourself a few questions. Is it easy for you to talk kindly to yourself? Or is it easier or more automatic for you to criticize yourself? I'm not going to mention any names, and there's no wrong or right answers. I just kind of like to know where this is landing with you. And while you're chatting in, I'd like to share a quick personal story about how positive self-talk and practicing it actually has helped me. So many years ago, we've been talking decades ago, and I was just starting out my medical practice. I had the opportunity to do a segment on a local television news show. And local was Los Angeles, so it was kind of a big deal for my career and for my practice. Well, long story short, I blew it completely. I felt like I failed. I felt embarrassed. I felt, like I embarrassed myself. And this is what I told myself over and over and over again. And it led me to avoid public speaking situations and other opportunities that would have been helpful for me and my family. But someone close to me took me aside and eventually helped me change the narrative that I constantly had playing in my head. I changed my inner dialogue from I failed and I'm an embarrassment to I'm proud I even tried. That took a hell of a lot of courage. And it helped me let go of that fear and anxiety and stop being so critical of myself in all areas of my life. And, well, now I'm here talking to you. So, what are some of the thoughts that you are having currently about self-talk? Using your chat box. Let's see, someone here. So they already practice positive talk to themselves. That's amazing. You're ahead of the game, and I wish I knew the lessons that you knew way back then. Someone else writes, I talk to myself harshly a lot. I don't even know how to talk kindly to myself. Help. You are absolutely not alone. I think that's probably the majority of people feel the way that you're feeling. And we have one of our change makers thinks it feels weird to talk to yourself. Well, I agree. At first, it does feel kind of strange. I think it feels strange to almost everyone because we are so used to being hard on yourself. We say things to ourselves that we would never say to other people or allow someone else to say to us or to our children or to our loved ones, right? So it is kind of a weird thing. We have another one of our change makers says that if positive self-talk can help her lose weight, then she's willing to do it. She'll give it a try. Well, actually, change makers, it kind of will. And although positive self-talk is not a magic bullet for weight loss or for any healthy habit, it does form neural pathways in your brain. And over time, it makes it easier for you to stick to the things necessary in order to lose weight. So thank you all so much for sharing your thoughts. And let's get back to it, right? So if being a positive self-talker isn't where you are right now, or it doesn't come naturally to you, what can you do? Here's our action plan, right? The answer is practice. Remember, new habits, even positive self-talk habits, take time and they take practice. But I promise, if you start practicing saying kind things to yourself, you'll build that mental muscle. You'll create those fast, automatic neural pathways so that eventually you don't even have to think about it anymore. Now, if you're using the Fresh Try app, you have a daily opportunity to practice positive self-talk in the intention and gratitude feed. So you just go to the try section on your app and type in kind intention for yourself. Maybe even be kind to myself today, or tell myself I'm smart today. You can also take a moment to notice something about yourself or your life that you're grateful for and type that in as well, just like we do at the beginning of all of our Mindset Live sessions with our gratitude prompt. So positive intention, setting, and gratitude reflection may seem like a small thing, but it really, really adds up. Now, another way you can add practice opportunities throughout your day is to write things, write positive affirmations for yourself, like on Post-its. You can place them where you may be tempted to talk negatively to yourself. For me, like maybe on the mirror, where you may normally tell yourself something unkind. You can put a sticky note there, reminding yourself that you're strong, that you're loved, that you're beautiful, just the way you are. Another thing you could possibly do is set an alarm on your phone or on your computer to go off every hour or two. And each time it goes off, you can take a moment to notice one thing that's going well for you right now, right in that moment, that you did a good job with, even if it's something that's teeny tiny, right? Looking here at our change makers, someone has chimed in. Yes, such a great session, something I needed to hear. Oh, thank you very much. I think we all need to hear, I need to hear these things too. We all do. This is actually reminding me of things that I need to hear as well. So, what if you mess up and you make a mistake? Positive self-talk might look a little bit like compassion and noticing an opportunity. So, what if you took a look at things you would like to have done better and said to yourself, hey, I forgive myself. And here's something I've learned so that next time I can do better. So I think you get the idea. One thing I want to make clear, this is not about being artificially happy, right? It's about choosing a positive thought whenever you can, and even designing your day in such a way that you have the opportunities to practice this choice. And I'll tell you one thing, if there is something that I have learned in 20 years of medicine, and that is the mind-body connection is real, it is powerful, and the benefits you will see are not just limited to your emotional health, but your long-term physical health as well. So, okay, change makers. I hope that leaves you feeling a little bit better and a little bit more excited to try the self-talk thing out. But before we go, I'm going to leave you with another opportunity to practice positivity. Help someone else build their positive self-talk muscle. This is where change makers get the opportunity to pay it forward. I want you to think of someone that you imagine may be struggling with a negative self-talk. And really, this is all of us, at least some of the time, me included. Think of something you really appreciate about this person. There's a trait that you admire, an action that they did that you know was hard, something special about them that you notice. And tell them. It's as simple as that. Let them know that their positive traits are seen and they're appreciated. And so maybe they can start believing themselves and incorporate these positive thoughts into their lives. Thank you, everyone. I want everyone out there to have a great week. And until we meet again, please, everyone, stay safe and take care of yourselves and each other.